You like comics? You bet we do. How about artwork? Yeah, we fucking love that too. You like movies? Whether they are old or new. How about streaming? We watch that fucking shit, it's true. But it's comic book art that gets us all fired up for the all-time great. So let's buckle up. Hear me out, I'ma tell you how it all goes down on the Blacklist Underground.
Welcome to the Blacklist Underground, brought to you by Ideal Organic CBD, starring our favorite artist, Zach Howard. Hi, Zach.
Hello.
Zach's the creator of the hit series Wild Blue Yonder, as well as illustrator of The Cape, Hellboy, Judge Dredd, TMNT, and too many others to mention. I'm your host, enthusiastic comic book aficionado J.C. Washburn. And each episode, we choose a comics legend to ink a drawing of. And this week's giant who's getting blacklisted is none other than Mark Schultz.
Excellent.
This week, we welcome our special guest, Leila Del Duca, artist on the hit graphic novel Wonder Woman, Tempest Tossed, Sleepless, Shudder, writer of Afar, and artist of my favorite Mignolaverse comic this month, The House of Lost Horizons, a Sarah Jewell mystery #1.
Outstanding.
Fantastic.
Yes, you did. Yay, great job.
Zach, hit us up with our Patreon blacklisters this week.
All right, we'll knock this out. Thank you, Patreon people. We can't pay our mortgage without you. No particular order. We're going to go upside down today. First is Max Machado. And Leila, you were a Machado practitioner as well, weren't you?
A Machado practitioner?
Yeah, when you did BJJ.
Oh, cool. Yeah, hi. Yes.
We did.
Awesome.
Yeah, we did Machado BJJ. You're probably not a Machado family, but if so, thank you for inventing awesome stuff. Danny Earls, the pro soccer player. Robert Berman. Scott Bowen. Sorry if I can't pronounce your last name. I suck. Bill DeGeest. Andrew J. Brown. My good buddy, Anthony Digi, who's putting rockets up in space. Longtime fan, Philip Jean-Pierre. Our friend in Spain, Olga Macia. Macia, I am so sorry. She's told me like 13 times. As you can tell, I'm super fluent in other languages. Kurt Kroll, who's now starring in Kroll 14, Son of Kroll the Revenge.
Yep.
No way.
Yes, Steve McKay, longtime supporter, and Patrick McNerney, all-the-time supporter, very first Patreon. Thank you so much.
Leila, I did just read your comic today.
Oh, The House of Lost Horizons or a different one?
Yeah, House of Lost Horizons.
Oh, cool. Thanks
Yeah.
for picking it up on the day it came out.
Well,
I haven't seen it.
I'm one of the admins on the Mignola Facebook page.
Are you? Oh, that's cool.
And so we've got like almost 20,000 members in that group.
Whoa.
It's been in.
That's insane.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I love Mignola's work and the Hellboy verse. And yeah. Wait, so should I start drawing? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to pop it up on the screen right now.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for reading it. What did you think? You can be as harsh as you want.
It reminded me of that Chris Evans movie that came out recently, Knives Out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it kind of had that vibe, like
Awesome.
Mystery on the Orient Express kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we were going for. Like that's the genre that Chris really wanted to write this story in, and I think he succeeded.
Oh, I totally dug it.
I only saw the cover, Leila. I suck.
Oh, that's okay. And the cover's by Christopher Mitten, the guy who first, I think, designed her. So they wanted to have him part of the series in some ways. So they had him do covers. So he's been doing a really great job with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, speaking of editing farts out and stuff, my chair makes farting noises. So I'm sorry if everyone can hear that.
Hey, my chair makes farting noises too.
Yeah,
and so does JC's.
Yep, we all have farting chairs. It's not a big deal.
I also have barking ground spiders in the basement. So if you hear one, sorry.
When I was a kid, there was a drunken night, and a gal ended up in my bed. And the next
Welcome
morning,
to the Blacklist, Leila.
And the next morning, I wake up and my bed is just soaking wet.
Oh.
And I said, and she said, "Oh," she goes, "I'm sorry. I guess I think I spilled some water last night." I said, "Don't feel bad. I spill water all the time. It's perfectly fine. There's no shame."
Yay. Yay. Also, it sounds like my neighbor has chosen the perfect time to start mowing. I'm sorry if there's a lot of excess noise going on.
Not
No
a ton.
worries.
My dogs will be joining in chorus, so it's okay.
Hooray. Wonderful. So, is this a pen that you use a lot for inking?
The Zebra?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started, I think right at the end of the last Cape sequel I did, and then I really took it upon myself to use it for my Hellboy book so it wouldn't be so fiddly. So and I got good enough to where I could, it really worked within my style really well. I was never big into brush pens until I picked these two up.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and they're helping me be a little less OCD and neurotic. So
Nice.
I use this show to practice a little and just get a little looser too than I do in my own crap.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I'm using this show also as an excuse to try my digital dry brush techniques. And it's one of the things I love most about Schultz is that he has all these really great textures that he gets by using his dry brush.
How he split brush. He's the king of split brush too.
Yeah.
Man. Woo!
Absolutely.
The first time I ever saw inking live was with my professor, my thesis year, Tom Biondolillo, who was, I guess, a student or friend or something with Schultz. And he's the one I said gave me all those pencils for that scuba book and everything, which I'll dig out and scan for you,
Right.
or just mail to you. But regardless, he was so in the Schultz inking. Obviously didn't have Schultz talent, but that's the first time I ever saw somebody first ink with a brush, but then he's like using a razor blade to split the hairs across. And I was like,
whoa.
I was like, what? Here I am using like a marker and a pen to try and do comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
It was first time I ever saw anything professional was someone trying to mimic Mark Schultz.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
Yeah. So that was really interesting. He was a decent inker, absolute garbage artist, but he never made it. The most, I mean, he helped me a lot. What a wonderful man. But he just didn't have it. And the weirdest, most awkward thing was after Shaun of the Dead blew up, I was doing a signing. He showed up, and I had to do a portfolio review for him.
Whoa.
In front of everybody.
I hope you were kind.
It was death. What now?
I hope you were kind to the man.
Oh, very much. He was my good friend. He was my thesis professor.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was awkward.
The student has become the teacher.
Something like that. I don't know, but it was it was a little weird.
That must have been weird.
One of the more disconcerting moments in my career.
Well,
By the
so
way, Leila, your hair's bad as hell, man. Love it.
Oh, thank you so much. I keep telling everyone that I keep flip-flopping between hating it and and loving it. So it's always good to hear when people think it looks cool.
Well, for what my vote counts, it's badass.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate that. So is yours.
You like that? I think I'm balding nicely. It's pretty even, and it's going slow. So it gives people time to get used to it before they start throwing rocks at me.
Nice.
I've been balding since like 28, and it's like moved an inch. But you know,
wow.
But I don't think men like losing an inch anywhere. So
my hair, as I get closer to 50, is starting to encroach on my eyebrows.
I forgot. You're becoming Wolfman, right. And I'm becoming Powder.
Yeah.
Nice.
So regardless, you win the hair competition, Leila.
Oh,
you're going to get a Blacklist windbreaker in the mail, signed by Ron Lim and Rob Liefeld.
Yes. That's a no prize.
It's in the mail.
Excellent. Thank you in advance.
We got a hair competition going on here to see who can finish the hair first.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't have my glasses on. Blind Zach here.
Leila also went for the nose and the lips. So
I usually do that, but Leila, when you're inking someone else, I tend to get comfortable first on easy shapes. Do you do something similar?
Yeah, totally. Even with my own work, I just kind of do the most fun thing first, which I mean, can get dragged when I move on from the fun stuff. But yeah, I like to do the easier stuff for that exact reason. Yeah.
I always loved your inks, and it's interesting. It's going to be fun watching you flourish digitally. Being a traditional jerk myself, I digital pencil now, which I think we spoke about a little, but that's only to preserve paper and give me a pristine surface to work on, basically, and a few other things. You know, I can layer better, blah blah blah. You composites, etc. You know, probably far better than I, along with the viewers. However, one thing I've always found myself doing was I always love watching your freehand nib work. You have one of the nicest freehand motions I've ever seen. It reminds me of like Carl's story and stuff.
Like with the brush or the nib?
The actual nib. Like, remember when you were first getting good at it, you like invited me to some coffee house in downtown Denver or something. Forgot what that. Well, a few of us showed up and we all drew or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was probably like drink and draw or
no. It was just. It was like I forgot what you were doing, but you invited us. You were at like a coffee shop in like East Colfax or Middle Colfax or something like that. Colfax. And it was a little dinker strip of a coffee shop, but I think I came with like Runge and maybe Zach Kinsella or something. Okay. I don't know, one of those guys. But you're just sitting there inking at this little dinker shop. And I was watching you already. You were far superior to me as far as how you pulled a nib. You know, I was really amazed at what you did there. So I'm kind of bittersweet because I was always amazed because most people just give up. And, you know, obviously the nib's really intimidating. And I mean, excuse me?
Oh, I was just going to say, fuck the nib. Like, can I curse on this thing? I hate it.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny hearing you say that because I never use the like crow quill nib anymore. I hate it so much.
So that was a long, stupid story, everyone. But you just had this elegant pull, I remember.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you're the one who encouraged me to work super fucking hard at it.
Well, yeah, you had it. Well, that's 90% of it, right?
Yeah, that's
just
true.
Don't give up, but don't waste your time. Quit making excuses for yourself. You saw nobody's paying attention, figure out why and rectify it.
Yeah, totally.
And your journey was always fun to watch, obviously, because I watched you from like hell. The first time we met, I think I was there to meet your is like after teaching a high school class at Keith's high school, and your boyfriend at the time, that's who I was told I was meeting, and you were just kind of in tow. And I always love telling that story because then you became a badass and a pro and a storyteller. And I think he does jujitsu or something now. Whatever his life, I'm sure he's a wonderful dude. But I just thought that was funny. I was there for him and his girlfriend that was all meek and quiet that meekly asked me to look at her little sketchbook. And next thing you know, she's the pro. So it's been so fun watching that journey.
That's awesome. Thanks. Thank you so much.
You're an indie creator. You do what you want.
Yeah. So it's also really cool to hear you say that because my boyfriend at the time was like the star of the illustration department for a while at REMCAD, the Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design, where I went to college at, and I was always envious of his skills. And I think like it was just really empowering for me to reach a level where I was like, oh, I'm as good as this guy. And then later I'm like, oh crap, I'm like
way better.
I mean, I don't want to say that because like he does have a fantastic
he's still a good artist and phenomenal pro jiu-jitsu guy, but you rocketed past him.
Oh, thank you.
No, Philip, if you listen to this, sorry, sir. It's just reality. I'll let him choke me out. He'll kill me. But
yeah, to also give your listeners some backstory. You and I attended, well, you just mentioned earlier, but you and I attended the same Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym at a time, for a time, which was really cool. I feel like I learned a lot about how to draw combat from just taking one martial arts class. I think I understand the way forms move and all that stuff just from taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes. So
the mechanics of the body, right?
Huh?
That what works, what doesn't work. How if you're here, how that works, etc. Well, that's cool. You have a severe advantage then.
Yeah, you got to use it in the comic I read today.
Oh, I probably did. Yeah, every time. Yeah, she did like a rear naked chokehold.
Yes.
And every time I think about how someone would like stop some other dude from doing a thing, it's usually like a rear naked chokehold.
Yeah.
Or like a front chokehold.
You gotta shut something down. A choke is usually it, right, Leila?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ends a fight pretty quickly.
Her character puts the other guy into some kind of she gets his arm behind his back and he's basically helpless.
Is gift wrapped it or something there, Leila? You just that's awesome though. Again, you have a severe advantage to even a lot of men in this industry.
Aww,
so
thank you. And I think that like one of the things I like to do is a lot of different things in life, and the more variations of things I experiment in, like try, like martial arts or music, or cooking, or even, it's like I think that really informs a lot of how I draw and how fast I can draw, because I already have a little bit of knowledge of how to draw clothing, or like the way clothing is joined, because I've sewn things before.
The object mechanics are kind of familiar in your brain.
Yeah, so I always recommend people to like look outside of comics for entertainment and skill stuff.
I think that's so important. Music has informed me as an artist more than any comic book. Well, that's a little hyperbolic, but nowadays I just listen to tunes.
Nice.
And I draw better than if back in the day, I used to middle of the day constantly be devouring one or two books to kind of get shapes and thoughts in my head of how people solve things and influence. And now Jimi Hendrix influences me more than any comic book artist.
Awesome.
So, So again, I'm just so proud you've established yourself as a creator, not just not that anything's wrong with being a factory worker, but you're just not, you don't just sit there, putting spindles in a box, i.e. chasing the dragon at the big two until they don't need you anymore. And,
right.
Then you have no IPs or no legacy of an actual, creator and storyteller. So I was just so proud you went that direction. I had a feeling you always had that type of vibe.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I do enjoy working for the big two.
Agreed. It's fun to draw Venom or something like that, but
yeah,
I don't mean to talk over you. I just want to quickly qualify. I'm not bad mouthing that. I'm just basically, if you work for them, I'm just saying that it's really refreshing that you went after, your own dreams rather than follow the crowd and try and be king of the shitheads. You can always go draw Spider-Man or Wonder Woman or whatever wonderful legacy of a character, blah, blah, blah. But it's harder. Well, I think it's more satisfying, at least for me, to watch storytellers create new stuff and tell stories rather than hammer checks.
Yeah, I totally hear you. Yeah, and I think I was pausing because I'm like, how do I politely say that I enjoy working for Marvel and DC, but my true love does really lie with creator owned and doing my own thing. I love their paychecks more than I love my creator owned paychecks. That's for sure.
Almost always, right?
Yeah, which is why I've like not done that much creator owned stuff in the past few years, is because like I am 35 now and I'm still have student loan debt and I don't own a house, and like I only was able to start a retirement fund last year, so I'm worried about the future, and so I've erred on the side of being safe and taking like fun work at DC and stuff like that. But I think my future goals are to probably crowdfund, like creator own work for myself for a little bit. I have been intensely burnt out on comics, and I think that this will also help it if I work entirely 100% on my own project instead of relying on teams or publishers or whatever, and see if that works out for a time. But who knows? Who knows if the money will follow that dream?
That's always the catch. If you need money, it's a Sophie's choice, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You mean which baby do you give up?
Yeah. Do I eat or follow this dream that nobody else gives a shit about?
Yeah.
Which baby dies?
Yeah.
Pretty much, and that's the cross you got to bear as an artist. Where do my ethics which hill do I die on? And do I have to die on a hill? And I think you're showing that you don't have to die on a hill. You can do both.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the hell you want. If you got to pay a bill, hell, I've taken Venom covers because I've needed a few extra thousand. Bills happen. Life happens. I have a mortgage too. It's fun just drawing assholes in the woods, which I do most days for no money. But occasionally I have to. I just did a TMNT cover, for San Diego and stuff, and which is rare for me, but I still do it too. So I just want to make certain people don't think I'm taking a big old shit on their life and passion. If you enjoy drawing Batman every day, I'm actually envious of you, man. So don't take any offense from that type of stuff. Everybody find their own happiness.
That's the famous Arthur Adams quote. What inspires you? He says, the mortgage.
Yeah. That's a beautiful one.
Yeah, so accurate.
And who can't, whether you follow that or not, who can't identify with it, right?
Yep.
You got to pay one way or the other. Leila, just to interject, I was, when I first read your comic book today, it was on Comixology.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because I live I live way too far from the city, so I buy my comics digitally.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so I read it. Have you played with Comixology at all?
I've never bought a comic from them. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And so they have this thing. It's called guided view, where you just you scroll through the comic, but you don't actually end. If you go through it that way, you never actually see the full page. And so you just see it just takes you from panel to word balloon to board balloon. And it's kind of an easier way to read when you're on a laptop or something like that. And so while we were chatting, I was just kind of scrolling through it, and I didn't realize, because I was reading it with the guided view, I didn't see. I'm going to try to get this on the screen. Can you see on your screen right now?
Oh. Yeah.
Can you see that? It's almost like a Winsor McKay thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It is. Well, like the story behind that page is Chris wrote the script basically being like, if you could lay this out as like a view of the house, but you cut the house wall off and you can see what's happening inside.
Yeah.
As they walk through the house. And I was like, there's no way I can do this and make it accurate and also readable on this page because of the way like the Gothic Victorian mansion that they are in was laid out. So I ended up changing the script slightly and just basically illustrating it room for room, and then just doing the decorative woodwork that was in all these mansions that I was researching, just to make it a little bit more interesting too. So I didn't quite achieve his vision, but I think it was a good solution to the problem.
Did you see that, Zach? Can you see that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. First of all, excellent work. I love static shots that also track. So cool. I'm a sucker for that old school kniff and stuff. So I love it.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you've always had a storytelling knack though, and character work.
Very much so.
Thank you.
It's just fun to watch it flourish. Yeah, that's a really great view. Good pattern work on the, of course, an amazing solution for the gutters.
Thanks. Thank you.
I usually am not too attracted to kind of like the kitschy stuff. Like once Sam Keith was doing it when I was younger, everybody started doing nutty like stuff. But when you find something that harmonizes with the story, and as you say, the house and the architecture, it's brilliant. It's just
Thank
brilliant.
you. Yay.
Not easy to pull off because you don't see it at first, but then you find yourself enjoying it. So you pull it off perfectly. You read the story first, then you go back and look at the gutters. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thanks, both of you.
It's just so funny, but I never would have seen that if I hadn't have gone back and looked at it, at the full pages.
Oh, crazy.
Because when you read
it shows you a panel at a time?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It basically goes from word balloon to word balloon, and somebody over there at Comixology chooses the path of the comic.
Okay.
So
interesting.
You never see a whole page at a time.
Okay.
And so that was a surprise to me just now as I was scrolling through the comic, which is
it's horrifying to hear. I suspect for Leila as well as me.
I bet.
She's being very polite, by the way.
I don't really.
We got to edit out that fart sound she did in horror.
I mean, I can't judge it. Like, I'm not. I think it reminds me of webcomics. Like, I used to read webcomics, and that's kind of how I fell in love with comics, is because of what was on the internet when I was in high school and stuff like that. So, reading comics that way wasn't as fulfilling as reading it in person, but it's like to each their own. And if you have to read comics that way because that's the only way to get them, that makes complete sense. Like, do you prefer reading it that way digitally, or do you?
No, I'm 2.5 hours from Boston. You know what I mean? And there just aren't comic book stores around. I'm okay with reading them on my laptop. I mean, I do it because I'm desperate. It's kind of like an alcoholic, drinking, rubbing alcohol or something. I mean, you just or like a cough syrup, I guess.
Okay.
Whatever you have to do. Oh, Zach, did we lose your stream for a sec? Uh-oh, we can't. Yeah, Zach's having a thing.
Oh, no.
He's having a thing.
Okay. Well, that doesn't make sense what you were saying, though.
So I don't, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? It's like, of course, having a physical comic book in your hands is better than, I mean, just look at what happened today. I just read your beautiful comic book that you spent an entire month drawing and had no idea that you had done that beautiful Winsor McKay homage. Were you thinking of Winsor when you did that, or did it come naturally?
I wasn't thinking of him at all, but I love that you're likening it to him, because it is very reminiscent of his work. So yeah, I was really just trying to focus on how can I make this look really interesting while trying to get across what Chris originally wanted to get across with introducing the house.
Yeah, you really nailed that house. I mean, the house is practically a character in the comic.
That's what I was gonna just about say, and I'll echo it. You did the best thing you can do, turning a setting into a character if it's needed in a story, and obviously that type of Victorian house, I suspect it is.
Yeah.
So,
thank you. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I try to do in comics, is make the environment a character, essentially.
And that's why you're good. That was my number one goal in Wild Blue Yonder. Make it feel lived in, and like it's just as important as the people trying to survive in it.
Totally. Yeah, mission accomplished, Zach. I think it turned out really well.
Oh, honored. Yeah, so good. I'm glad. See, we got the same sensibilities.
Yeah.
We're team badass.
Team
Mark that down, JC. Go tell Mignola.
I'm joining too. Well, tell me about, they'll kill me in the Mignola group if you don't tell us about sort of your process of drawing it in the script, and who was involved and how that went editorially and where the story's going, all that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'll just start with how I got hired on the gig, which was one of the greatest moments of my career. So I was at Rose City Comic Con, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and I still hadn't met Mike Mignola yet, but I'd met Chris, and Chris was always really nice. But I think Joe Keating, who was the writer on Shudder with me. I think he was tabling near or next to Mike Mignola. And I think Mike finally saw my work for this first time, like based on my writer tabling near him. And so he looked at my work and he's like, holy crap, like, is she working with anyone right now? And then he came over to my table. I didn't recognize him because I think he either had a beard or he didn't have a beard. And I think the only picture I saw of him, he had one or the other. So he came up and I was like, wait a second, is this person? But I kind of played it off as like pretending not to know if it was for sure. And he just started raving about my work really nicely. And I asked, are you Mike Mignola? And he's like, yes, of course, blah, blah. Like, so he just basically complimented me and was like, I would love to poach you for something. And I'm going to talk to Katie, my editor, see if we can get you on something if you have time. And I kept my cool and then freaked out for the rest of the day internally.
Katie's awesome, isn't she?
Yeah.
Mike's new editor.
Yeah, I love working with her. And
she's one of the better I've ever worked with.
Oh, good. Nice. Yeah, I was impressed with her. And like Jenny also, like Jenny Blank. Yeah, I really liked working with her. Yeah,
she was great too. What a great assistant.
Yeah, so you worked with them on or currently also working on.
Yeah, Mike gave me just a brilliant script.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with that. It wasn't a throwaway story. In fact, it's something that looks like he's going to build another storyline off of. So
cool.
I don't know. But that's what it seemed like. But yeah. It's a fun process and intimidating, huh?
I mean, it wasn't really that intimidating.
Shit.
I didn't feel intimidated.
I'll just shut the fuck up.
I mean, it probably helped that Chris was writing the script and not Mike Mignola. Like,
okay.
And like the script was so clear and concise that I didn't feel like I wasn't worrying too much about stuff. Like the thing I worried most about in this series was I wanted to move digitally because my this is obnoxious and I don't need to get too much into it, but like my face hurts at the end of all of my work days and my posture's bad and like I have like health issues from that are work related now. And so I think moving digitally is really helpful because I can zoom in. I don't have to feel like I'm unconsciously slouching over my paper and then drawing really tightly, like, and not moving my body as much as I probably should. So the Dark Horse team was all for me moving to digital when I showed them an example of what it could look like. So the first issue you read, JC, that is all traditional. Mm-hmm. But in the middle of the series, I think beginning on issue 3, that is going to be digital, like all digital.
Let me just pull up another page that stuck out to me. This page legitimately scared me. Zach, you can take a look too.
Oh, good.
You did a nice job kind of putting the creep on that page.
Thank you. That was the funnest page of the whole first issue to me. That was very fun.
Yeah, you scared me in the middle of the afternoon in my living room.
You're welcome.
It was well done.
Thank you.
Again, great open panel layering. Always intimidating. You pulled it off, Leila. Awesome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Colors compliment you well too.
Yeah, Michelle did a really cool job. Who colored your book, Zach?
Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart.
Oh, yay. That must have been quite nice.
I didn't really work with him. I wasn't allowed to speak to him, so.
Really? Oh, no. Wait, is that how he works?
Well, I don't think, I really have no clue what the normal process was. But basically, Mike and I worked on whatever the hell his script said, and then I would work that out and frustrate him, and then I would, once everybody was properly exasperated, I'd begin drawing it. Once I finished inking it, I literally just sent it off to the wind. So, you know, I didn't really work with them. We share a cool credit together, but that's about it, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of how I felt about this collaboration. Like, and I'm always gonna like kind of complain about that a little bit, about working for people who aren't working on non-creator owned work, is that it does feel a little bit disconnected from my collaborators. Like I barely emailed Chris. I emailed him for like some character reference descriptions or something once, and then like but for the most part I'm just talking with Katie and Jenny or whatever editors I'm talking to, and usually they're great. But it's like I think with work for hire stuff, I do miss the close collaboration and feeling like a more close-knit team.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for lack of a better word or phrase, I always call it like that band of brothers feeling. You're kind of in the foxhole together. Band of brothers and sisters feeling. You just, I missed that on Hellboy too. I worked diligently with Mike. I mean, he was writing the story and bouncing things. I was very fortunate on that end. Yeah. You know, and Katie and Jenny, they're just unbelievable soldiers and helped me a lot, you know, mentally as well as, you know, workload and stuff like that too. Good. But to your point, it's just like, you know, you get the pages back and it's just like, okay, it's done. It felt like doing Spider-Man again, you know, at the very end, which made me really sad. Not that the product isn't something I'm not obscenely proud of, but I would rather, I don't know. I to your point, I like the team feeling. I don't like this factory shit where everybody does one thing, and if you say something, you know, it's just I did that part of my career, and I'm not trying to bash anybody. If they enjoy doing whatever, that's fine, but I don't. I think we echo each other, me more crassly and brusquely, but you just the gratification of working with a team that everybody's in it together and you achieve something. One, it's almost always better, but two, I don't know. There's that emotional satisfaction I get too, that I don't get from just drawing Batman and everybody's hammering checks, and I just don't enjoy that.
Leila, did you were you able to communicate with Michelle? I mean, on the colors rather?
No, which is another thing. Like I like a more direct approach. Like I think I'm really good at what's it called? Communicating in a kind way when I critique stuff. I bet people who went to college with me are like, yeah, right. I think like with my working relationships, I think I do a good job of being like kind when I critique them. And asking them what to do and fix and stuff like that. So it frustrates me that I have to go through editors who might change what I want to say. And like, I'm not saying anything, but I can't tell what they're passing on. Like if I have a lot of tweaks for the colorist, do they pass them on, or do they not? Like, who knows? Because there's
I can tell you in my recent experience, fuck no.
Oh yeah? Wait, what happened?
I'm just saying in my recent experience, well, notes are, to your point, are heavily edited. And, you know, I've been art director in animation. I know what the fuck I'm saying and doing. You can disagree with me and explain it to me, but don't just avoid me. And that really upsets me, because I know what I'm doing. You can disagree with me and you can tell me to fuck off, but don't just either ignore me or diffuse it through never passing it along. Or if I do pass it along and the colorist obviously didn't say, like, read a script. Can you fucking say something for me? Because if I set up a lighting effect and the person doesn't do it, it looks really stupid. You know? So that's what I'll say about working on, I'd say in the last few years of my career, as whenever I do work for hire stuff, I find it such an excruciating experience. Any joy, potential joy, is just sucked out. And that's my fault, not their fault. You know, actually, so
that goes to, you know, something that we talked to Dave Johnson about, where he basically said if he won the lottery, he probably wouldn't be drawing comic book covers tomorrow. What about you, Leila? Like, would you, like, let's say somebody ran into your apartment or your house, a bloodied up gangster with a briefcase full of money. He collapses on the floor. The money's in your hands. Nobody knows what's happened. Now you're suddenly a multimillionaire. Are you picking up your pen tomorrow to draw the next issue, or are you chilling out?
I'm chilling out probably. I think that what would I do? Like, comics are so hard. They're like
I didn't lie to you, did I, Leila?
What?
Way back in the day, I didn't lie. I said
You
it's
didn't lie. You didn't
fucking
lie at
murder.
all. You warned me, and I went for it anyway, and like I don't regret it, but
that's why you made it, and I told you that.
Yeah.
You knew it's gonna suck, and you did it anyways, and that's why you're good.
Yeah, thank you. Yet at the same time, I didn't know it was gonna suck so hard. Like, I don't want to. I feel weird complaining because it's like, who's gonna believe me when I complain that drawing comics is like really shitty sometimes? Like because they're like, oh wow, like because back in the day when I was like seeing you and what you were achieving, I was like, oh my god, he must love his life so much. He gets to draw comics all the time and make a living off of it. But there's like a dark side to it, just like any profession. And I would say the dark sides for me are like dealing with industry drama, not making enough money, underselling myself, like not like taking myself for granted, I think, with projects, and just like the fact that it's hard to make like a good enough living off of this where you can plan for your financial future and you can take breaks so you don't lose your mind or your health. But that's exactly what I did to myself.
Yeah. And that's a really hard balance to achieve, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody's got to find their own way ultimately, right? Because we're all different. We're so different, you know?
Yeah.
I think you flourish better in a lot of ways in the comic book industry than I did. You know, if I don't like something or somebody's line or whatever, I will stick my foot right in their ass and I'll leave it there until they acknowledge it. And that doesn't sit well in the entertainment industry.
Do you feel like it's affected your career though, or are you still getting just as many jobs?
You know, I can only speculate. I've gotten literally everything I've wanted and more. So I'm not a mean person. So it's really easy if people don't like what I say. I'm not trying to be mean, and if they get upset because I won't accept their lie, or I knew they lied, cheat, or steal, or they literally or intentionally damaged my life in some way, I don't feel morally obligated to validate that person until they right their wrong.
Right.
Now, I'm not the judge of all things, but I know I'll mea culpa anytime I fuck up. You know, and if you don't fuck up, you do want to defend yourself. But, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of weak men in this industry.
It's true.
I mean, morally, everything. Just every part of them is weak. And that's why I actually do better, I think, with female editors usually. Because there's none of that little ego shit going on. You just go make a book, you know? And, but no, I don't know. But it might be because I don't give a shit.
I think that
I don't want to draw X-Men, you know? So if that ruins my career, I don't know, go fist yourself. You can think about it while doing that.
Right. I think, I've been, as you mentioned, I was meek back in the day and I was incredibly insecure. And I'm only now within the past few years learning how to advocate for myself more and being less afraid of putting my foot in my mouth. Like, even when I rightfully should have stood up for something, I have sometimes just been quiet about it and let myself like get the lower page rate or whatever it is that I feel like they're kind of screwing me over for. And I think that like that's something anyone can learn from you, is that like stand up for yourself and like don't be afraid of standing up for yourself. And that's something I really admire about you.
Well, I'm honored. We're truly honored. Sometimes, you know, I can upset people, but it's usually because I'm not playing along. But you know, sometimes I'm wrong too. And when you're a big giant asshole like me, it's paramount you learn when to apologize and mea culpa. but that also gives me a little bit more room. Hey, if I'm not Mia Culping and I've really thought about it as objectively as I can, and you're being a shitbag, I'm going to say something. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. You crap just like me. You have insecurities just like me. You're just a person. You're going to die just like me. You're temporary. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Zach,
by the way,
Zach, how do you
hope
crap?
everyone's having a good day.
How do you crap, Zach? Do you have a-
I'm available for children's parties, by the way.
This totally turned into a bitch session.
Sorry, Leila. No, I don't think it affected my career, but in reality, in some people's eyes, it most certainly has, right? Because they wanted to hire me for something, but fuck Zach. But I still get hired by everybody, you know?
That's
I
good.
do my job, and if you hire me, all I can promise is 100% of the time.
Right.
Everything else is the universe deciding. Me, I can at least control my effort and how hard I try to do something.
Right.
And that's what you get when you hire me.
Awesome.
Like it, hate it, anything in between. You get a big,
Well, I think
giant,
that's-
bald asshole trying his best.
I think it's an important thing for some people to hear. Like, if you're someone who was like me, this is just like a general you to anyone who's watching this. Like, know that like if you screw up badly, like you might not actually. It might not affect your career. Like that's something that I was terrified about multiple times.
I'm
with
sad
situations
about
and
You're
yeah.
such a wonderful person that you would have that existential dread, and that's probably why you have that dread.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
you're a fucking awesome person.
It's in every business. It's not just the comic book industry. I mean, we live in a world where if you don't have health care, you go bankrupt.
Yeah.
You know, and
Really?
so there are so few careers now where people don't feel that existential dread every day.
Mhm.
You know, that if they don't, go out and make that money and work for the person that, work for the company that they hate, that they've got, they could be one, paycheck away from homelessness,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's bizarre that's the case. No
It's
comment other than that, but that's sad.
It really is.
Yeah.
Um,
Capitalism.
hey, what other terrible, sad subjects can we cover, everyone?
Leila,
There's probably grandma out there dying of cancer. Let's cover it.
Leila, as we're chatting, I can't help but scroll through your comic book here. I mean, I'm
Gorgeous.
gazing at it and I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'm doing it digitally. You can't even hear the pages turn.
I'll have to buy it.
Oh.
And Leila, I'll email you my book.
Oh,
So-
thanks. Yeah, if I ever get a PDF of mine, I'll also send that over to Zach.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I suck. It's actually, Leila, it's been a couple years since I've read one of your books. Full disclosure, I'm a pile of shit.
No, you're not. I mean, I'm a pile of shit too then, because I don't think I read any of your books the past couple of years.
You're fired.
Great. Leila's blacklisted now.
Leila,
Blacklisted.
I love that.
You didn't read my books?
I love the one that you wrote about the the princess and the heir. It's Sleepless. It's the one about the Sleepless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was
Awesome.
Sleepless was the one that I started reading that. I got one issue in, and then life got in the way, and I haven't been able to continue. But
Uh-huh.
it's one of those that I want to keep reading because it was so good.
Oh, thank you so much.
And
I
that-
should send you some PDFs then if you want, since you're reading them digitally anyways.
I do like free. I like
Sweet.
cheap, but free's better.
Yeah, if I forget, email me in like a couple days and I'll send some over.
I would love that. Yeah, I got through the first issue and I wanted to keep reading, but then I think Zach and I had to record some episodes, and I had to go on a trip to Texas, and
You injured your grundle.
my grundle snapped in two.
Wait, did you actually get hurt? Or are you joking?
He fucked up his back literally 45 minutes before the last time we were recording this.
So I couldn't tell if you just tweaked it, but you like really actually screwed it up.
Well, you're like 10 years younger than me or more. And so like what happens when you get into your late 40s is that
Uh-huh.
if you like bend over to pick up something or like a cat jumps onto you, like it can happen at any time. All of a sudden you're just like, ah!
Like your life's over for 3 months now.
It's so bad. And so like, I was like, it was just a muscle spasm or a it was a soft tissue thing. And I did tell Zach, I was like, I could definitely gut through the thing, but he's being almost as old as me, was like, I feel your pain. Rest yourself, young man. Rest yourself.
You were hurting, dude. I could hear it in your voice. Layla's a friend. I was just hoping she'd understand. And fortunately, she had that dreadful deadline, so that helped.
Oh, yeah. And then speaking of that dreadful deadline, they put that book on hold as of last week.
Yeah.
That's
on your video blog. What like, that's something you can't talk about, what the comic was?
Yeah, I totally can't tell you what it is. I can tell you, though, that it was the first story that I was going to write and draw. So I actually got my first like script paycheck from it, and which was really sad.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You did that. Nobody can tell you can't write now.
Yeah. But now it may never come to the light of day. So we'll see.
Yeah. Isn't that the pisser? I did.
Yeah.
My best superhero story was King Shark. I don't know. He's this shark-headed asshole, and it was about him and his father and Crom, and it was like making fun of Conan, and he's getting his ass kicked and holes through him, the whole thing. It was brilliant for just a DC comic book. It got shelved because of the New 52.
No.
And I'm just like, who gives a shit? That's for like, I mean, who cares? Just get the fun story out there. Well, we're changing King Shark's head. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I think he's a major character in their movie universe now.
Regardless, it was just a brilliant little story, one shot, so funny. So funny.
For a one shot, and they already invested a lot of money in it.
Yeah, well, that New 52 was just so important, really worked out. I think Schneider offered me that like Dark Superman from that New 52 or Flashpoint or whatever. I did. I got yelled at that I was ruining my career for a second time because I took the cape over Dark Superman or some shit like that.
Well, I'm glad to know that.
I still get paychecks from the cape, by the way, every quarter. So those people can suck on it. Anyways, I interrupted you.
I don't remember what I was saying now. I got distracted by trying to think what else I should do on here, but I'm just gonna say, how do I label this? I label it as like Leila Del Duca after the signature. Okay.
Well, it's funny because the inker Joe Rubenstein.
I don't.
She doesn't know the old school guys like we do, dude. She's way younger than us.
Well, he was he's probably the most prolific Marvel inker of the 80s. And he's probably inked the most pencilers of any inker.
Cool.
Because do you know that at one time Marvel had this thing called the Handbook of the Marvel Universe? And they would publish, they would put little bios on and like power levels and drawings and stuff of every single Marvel character. And he inked that book. It was basically his job to make every. So he's inked like literally. He's like in the Guinness Book for having inked the most pencilers or anything.
Cool.
So he's lately he's been copying other people's artwork and selling it. Without
super awesome.
And he did an Arthur Adams. Arthur Adams did a really cool Doctor Doom like alternative cover a few months ago. It turns out that he's been doing that habitually. And I talked to some of my collector friends, and he put up a big defense of himself, basically saying that the masters all did the same thing.
That's always a good defense. Hey, this person did it too.
No, like the Renaissance artists used to do it. Like he went back to the Renaissance.
Oh my God.
So I sent that over to Joyce, and she got a chuckle out of it too.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep delusion. What? He's got to be in his 80s, right?
No, Rube, he was super young when he started.
Oh, really?
He was like 16 when he first inked like Neil Adams.
Wow, wild.
Yeah, wicked. So he might be pushing 70 or something.
Leila, who's the coolest legendary or legacy person you worked with besides Mignola?
James Robinson.
Oh, James Robinson.
Yeah.
Oh, James Robinson. Yeah,
He's a big
phenomenal Brit.
Yeah, he wrote a fantastic Scarlet Witch issue.
Oh, maybe I read that. Those first few issues were amazing.
Yeah, I drew one issue because that series was basically they hired a different artist per issue, which I really loved.
Yes.
So, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see it a little bit better. Stop screen. All right, cool. So this is what that story looks like. If I could center it.
Yeah, I could see it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was a really good run.
Yeah, I liked reading the other stuff of this I read. I'm not like, when I look back at this, I'm not like super proud of this work, and the reason is because I took it on top of drawing Shudder, a monthly comic. So I was like, that's probably
you savage, Leila. You got that done, huh?
I did.
It still looks good. Reads well.
Thank you. It's like one of those things that I did to screw myself over. Yay, paycheck, and also like got to work with this cool character and writer and team. But it was definitely what contributed to this like long-term burnout that I've been suffering from. So
all I can say with that, first, you have my sympathies, and two, you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's all I fight with for literally the last 10 years of my career. So
I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's
what do
why
you
I
do?
always end up. Oh, sorry.
Oh, what do you do to mitigate that?
I don't know. I smoke crack, mix with the people. But no, lots of working out. Now that I've kind of got my health back, I can work out heavy again.
Good.
I do a lot of nature stuff with the dogs and trail running instead of fighting nowadays. I'm getting too old to get punched in the face 30 times a week. So I'm already ugly enough. I don't think we need any more help. What I do mostly just for my career, I follow my muse no matter what now. If I hate something, I don't do it anymore. I used to grind through it. I used to let editors just destroy my life. And I'm on really scary drugs to help my immune system and be well. And when you just have a editor that gives zero shits and is yelling at you and threatening to end your career because this is some big book to him. Like I remember after Aliens, took me 4 months before I could do anything again.
No.
I lost 40 pounds while doing that book.
Jesus.
And I don't have 40 pounds to lose. I got to lose like both my femurs. So I was just so ill, and that was kind of my crux. And that's what led to me not doing something like Superman and Joe Hill. I literally was quitting comic books and gonna find something else. And Chris Ryle said, "You promised you'd do one more book with me," and I said, "Fine." And he's like, "You like Joe Hill?" I said, "Sure." And that was the Cape, and that kind of revitalized me because I was like, "Oh, storytelling's fun," and working with Joe. Still the best person, just human being I've ever worked with as far as super talent is concerned. Taught me a lot about how to interact with fans too, probably more than anyone. And then that led to me starting my own company. And then I did Wild Blue. And then I learned about the horrors of Hollywood.
Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't heard any of this stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you off air. But then I ended up selling my company, or at least my shares of it. Mike Rach and I did. And we think we're just going to do our own thing now. So, I just Kickstarter stuff. I got enough money in the bank, and if I get poor, I do a poster or something.
Cool.
That's luckily my wife gives zero shits as long as we got money in the bank. Yeah. So Meg, she's cool. She's punk rock. So
she is.
She likes me being a fuck up artist. I think she likes being married to that. So I'm very lucky. But yeah, I just have to, I can't concentrate. You brought up the best point. I don't know shit about drama. I don't want to hear a thing. I don't care about anybody. I don't care who's saying what. I just want to draw my books, and I hope everybody's well. And that's kind of what I do now. I got off of Twitter. Like when I was with my company, I had to be on Twitter, and it aggravates something in my stupid OCD brain, and it was just making me miserable. Everything. Not that I'm anti-social media, but I had to limit anything that brought negativity to my life, I removed.
Yeah.
And now I have bad days, but I don't care, because I'm just, again, I get to follow my muse. And if I'm really hurting and it really sucks and I'm drawing tree number 47 in my new book and I hate life, I have to tell myself this is literally one more tree towards my dream. And I know how to do trees. So quit whining, Zach, and fucking draw the tree. Because that's the only way to solve it, is draw it and get it done, right? You know? And now balancing that with evolving as an artist, because I'm trying to deconstruct my style a little bit, about 10-15%, pull it back.
Cool.
That's why I'm trying to use this way more. But I'm not there yet. Like when I was doing Hellboy, I'd like 3/4 of the time I'd like flex that muscle, and I'm animating a little more, and I'm keeping it open, more graphic, and it's really popping. But then you just have like one day where you're tired or something, not thinking, and all my anxiety, every stupid foible I have comes out. And then I'm just eating myself while redoing Hellboy's left eye in one panel for 4 hours, and it's just like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, you're in this crazy rabbit hole that you can't get out of, that you're stuffing yourself in. It's weird.
Yeah.
But that's always been my problem, is I have the thrusters down, and I wasn't very good when I started. As you well know, I didn't start till I was like 24. So I had to learn how to draw at a professional level, which I'm psycho. I'm very good at learning something. But my mind won't let me stop that thrust, all that momentum to learn how to get it. So now that I kind of know how to draw, at least well enough that people find it attractive enough to read my stories, that thruster's still going so hot. I for whatever reason, I don't know if there's nothing oscillating my intensity. And that's what I learned to turn off. It could be one fucking panel of a leaf falling through the page. I'd spend a day on. I'm insane.
Oh my God.
Fucking insane. I'd research the leaf, and then I'd research leaves at different times of year, where that tree is, and then I would draw it, and then I'd draw it again, and then I'd get to 100%. I'd be happy. I'd go upstairs. I'd tell my wife I succeeded today. I'll go downstairs and I'll change it and then start all over again. Then I won't sleep for 4 days, and then I'll redraw the leaf. And it's like 90% of what the leaf was 4 days ago, but I now have to live with that. Otherwise, I'm going to find a bridge to fly off of.
Oh my God, that sounds like torture.
Well, there's me. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. Because I'm extremely competitive, and I don't fucking like losing. So I've removed all the obstacles for my next book. I have no publisher, I have no producer, I have no fucking agent, no nothing. And I'm just doing my book, the same Wild Blue Yonder crew that was creative side of Wild Blue Yonder. And we're just going to do it in Kickstarter every 50 pages, and we'll see. But, I don't give a shit. Just give me enough to eat and brush my teeth, and I'll use JC's shower. So we're all good.
I just got a water pick. It's unbelievable. I've got. Have you tried those?
Oh, yeah, we have one. I love that.
I literally just discovered a water pick like last week, and I do it every day. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever discovered. I never had a water pick. And I've now got bidets in all 3 of my bathrums.
Oh, we got one of those squatty potties, man. At the one you put on top of your normal toilet?
Yes. I have bidets on every floor of my house.
Wonderful. I didn't even know what a clean butthole was. No. And the joy that it brings you.
It brings so much joy.
My teeth are clean. My butt is clean. Hey, I'm not worried about leaves.
Shit, you could be president, dude. Yeah, you got everything. Check, check, check.
Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like I'm the president of my house.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
I'm not even that. Only 2 of the 3 dogs recognize me as the alpha. So
Yeah, I'm the vice president.
Yeah.
But Leila, it has been a super pleasure to have you here today. We'll probably wrap up. Your drawing is gorgeous. You know, it's really special when I can just log into my computer, go to Comixology, and you have sucked me into a really fantastic story for the second time.
Oh.
So you're an excellent, fantastic storyteller. You have beautiful artwork. I'm just so pleased to have been turned on to your work by Zach.
Thank you.
And I'm a comic book lover. I'm a music lover. I love it when I hear new songs that I like. I love it when I see new art that I like and your new art that I like. And it's just really cool to have that in my life. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I wish I could chat more. Like, I have so many questions for both
we're
of you.
going to have you back. You're one of our favorites, or you're one of my favorites. JC's just going to have to eat it. So he wants to get old disasters on the show, guys that like have a whiskey bottle in their hand screaming about somebody. Stanley once farted in my coffee and I was never the same. You know, he loves those stories. So this is a true joy to get a newer perspective of a future young master storyteller in the middle of her journey that's self-made. It's an honor for me.
Yeah.
Leila.
Thank you. Thank
All right.
you.
Well, we'll be in touch, and the next time we film, I'll be shooting from the bathroom.
I love that. I will look forward to hearing the sound of the water cleaning your asshole off.
All right.
Hey, there we go.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Welcome to the Blacklist. Goodbye.
Blacklist, everybody. Thank you.